build a new commercial structure in the floodplain, that now needs to be 1 foot above the base flood elevation. The old standard was that it could be built at that flood elevation. So that would be one item. And then the other one is there is now a definition of critical infrastructure. And for those types of items that meet that definition, things such as city hall, jails, hospitals, any of that type of stuff that's in the floodplain and it was being new constructed would need to be built at 2 feet above that base flood elevation. So those are the highlights of those regulations.
Okay. Thank you. Is there any No other discussion, so I will close the public hearing. Is there a motion to adopt ordinance number 839-15 on second reading and published by title only?
I'll make a motion to approve ordinance number 839-15.
Second.
Second, motion and a second. An ordinance repealing and reenacting Chapter 16, Article 13 of Brush Municipal Code concerning floodplains and adopting and amending certain definitions in connection herewith. We'll have a roll call vote.
Mayor Schoenberger.
Yes.
Councilor Anderson.
Yes.
Councilor Bain.
Yes.
Councilor Becker.
Yes.
Councilor Quinlan.
Yes.
Councilor Smith.
Yes.
Moving on to number B, second and final reading of ordinance number 840-15, an ordinance approving the leases of certain real estate owned by the city of Brush. Monty, that's you.
Okay, at the previous city council meeting, we had our first reading of this ordinance, and essentially it is 5 city farms that we own. We had purchased those years ago in order to secure some water rights, and also in a partnership with one of our cogen facilities, cogeneration facilities here in town. And we put those out to bid. We received our bids back. It was a competitive process, and all of those leases that we had in place had pretty significant increases in the per acreage cost of those leases, and those were reviewed at the last meeting, and so it's here for the second and final reading for that. And these are for 5-year terms, and the city will continue paying for the water assessments on the farms, and that's just to ensure there's very clear understanding that the ownership of those water shares of the city of Brushes.
Is there a motion to adopt ordinance number 840-15?
I move that we adopt ordinance 840-15.
Second.
Second. It's an ordinance approving the leases of certain real estate owned by the city of Brush for terms of 5 years and published by title only. Discussion and roll call vote.
Councilor Anderson.
Yes.
Councilor Bain.
Yes.
Councilor Becker.
Yes.
Councilor Quinlan.
Yes.
Councilor Smith.
Yes.
Mayor Schoenberger.
Yes. Moving on to item C, the public hearing of the Carter franchise. That's been continued until January 11th at 6 p.m. And everybody has that agreement in their council packet for review. Switching down to finance, number 6.
Okay, I'd like to make a motion to approve disbursements and payroll from December 14th through 28th, 2015, totaling $160,857.17. Second.
Motion and second. Any discussion? Roll call vote.
Councilor Bain.
Yes.
Councilor Becker.
Yes.
Councilor Quinlan.
Yes.
Councilor Smith.
Yes.
Mayor Schoenberger.
Yes.
Councilor Anderson.
Yes.
Item B, the supplemental budget resolution, number 2015-21.
Okay, this supplemental budget request is our third and final supplemental budget for the year. Typically, we only have about 2. This year is a little bit different because at the last minute, we did have the request from the fire department and the police department on the new radio sets. They received a discounted rate, and so they came to council a few months ago requesting additional funds for those. So it took those 2 funds, and they were significant enough where we needed to come back for a supplemental. And so the amount for both Fund 10 and Fund 33 was that even split of $61,000 for each of those, and that was for the radio purchases for the police department and fire department.
Is there a motion to approve the supplemental budget?
I'll make a motion that we approve the supplemental budget 2015-21.
Second.
Motion and second. Any discussion?
One thing I'd like to say about that, while we don't like to approve supplemental budgets normally, I think the cost savings that we realized by purchasing radios early was a really good idea.
Thank you. And roll call vote.
Okay. Counselor Becker,
Yes.
Counselor Quinlan,
Yes.
Counselor Smith,
Yes.
Mayor Schomberger,
Yes.
Counselor Anderson,
Yes.
Counselor Bain.
Yes.
Moving down to staff reports. Karen, Community Development.
I just have one item I want to draw your attention to this evening. And we've got a planning commission meeting scheduled for February 1st at 5:30. And then city council's going to hear that same item on the regular meeting at February 8th at 6 p.m. And I draw this to everyone's attention since I know sometimes at the beginning of a new council term, we reassign appointments to different boards and commissions. So if you could all take note of that February 1st at 5:30 timeframe, just in case you're the lucky guy or person that gets to be on planning commission, I'd be most grateful. And then I just also wanted to note that this is for a development application out on the Castle Rock property by exit 89. So this is a site-specific development plan. So if you have people in the community who are wanting to bend your ear and talk about this proposal, you need to ask them to please come to these public meetings or write a letter. Because if you have that conversation with that constituent, you're engaging in an ex parte contact that potentially creates a problem as part of the open public hearing process. So anybody who wants to talk about that property out there and an application, send them to the public hearing. We'd love to have them join us. Thank you.
Thank you. Moving down to City Clerk.
I provided an updated calendar, and really the only thing of significance for you is that we have scheduled on January 18th at 5:30 our council orientation, and it'll be here, and we'll provide a meal. So more details to come.
Thank you. Administrator.
Okay, one update is that I did have a meeting with the fire chief and also 2 members of the rural fire board. And there still is interest in working on this fire department building, replacing a portion of it or the bay portion of the fire department building. And so still a lot of interest there. And I did last week also visit with Greg Edel, who is our DOLA rep. And he did verbally confirm that if any of the entities chose to go with a lease purchase on a portion of the building, that would still be considered a match to the grant, which is very positive news. And so I'm going to get a little more clarification on that, and we'll have another meeting with the rural fire board just to let them know that option is out there. And so that's a very positive bit of news.
Thank you. Anything else? Council, any concerns, questions? As Karen brought up just a minute ago, in a way, it's good to adjust or shift around our appointments or what boards we're on, just so we get experience, so we get more opportunity to look into things. So let me know if you have interests in other things, and we'll consider that over the next week or two and make the final appointments or decisions on that at our January meeting. So let me know on that. Anything else? Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second? We are adjourned.
Fastest meeting I've been at in 4 years.
Really?